Yo, what's going on guys? Your Putty God is back with another 3D printing video. So for this video, we have a 3D printed disc. And I know I made one recently out of metal. That's right, I printed one out of metal, but this one's actually made out of plastic, hence why it's a white color. And basically, we're going to be testing this out. This is a really light disc, and we're going to see how that affects performance and just Beyblades in general. So it's going to be really interesting. Before we get to this video though, Putty Squad represent. Comment down below, hashtag Putty Squad. Can we get 300 likes? I think we can, boys. But yeah, let's get to the close-up. Alright, so I'm back with a few things laid out for you guys. But first things first, I do have to give credit where it's due. And this disc that's going to be featured in this video was created by Kaiser138. So big shout out to him for sending me the files. And yeah, this is all his original design. Anyway, I have a few things laid out. Number one being these discs. So this is another 3D printed disc. This is called End, and this one was created by Crazy Aries. So this one's made out of a steel, and you guys could see it's got like a nice kind of bronze color to it. It's also really heavy, so I just have this out here to compare. I also made a video on it if you guys want to check it out. Link will be on the screen right now. But yeah, we got this here. And then of course, we got the disc, which is called Time. So it's got a white color to it because it is 3D printed out of plastic. And I do want to get into some details. So first things first, it's really hard to see thanks to my camera, but there's actually markings on the disc itself. It kind of looks like a clock, to be honest, but because it's white, it's just really hard to see, and I apologize for that. Either way, it does have some minor details to it, but overall, it's a fairly circular design. Now, keep in mind, this was intended to be printed out of metal, and had it been printed out of metal, it probably would have looked a lot nicer. It's also really thick, but because it's printed out of plastic, it just doesn't have that much weight to it. So we're gonna go ahead and weigh it now because I want to show you guys just how light it is. Alright, so we're gonna start off with a real disc, that being 11. So 11 comes on the Achilles, and it's fairly light, but yeah, let's weigh it. So my 11 weighs about 17.3 grams. And now we're going to try the End disc. So this is going to be a little bit heavier. End weighs 22.2 grams. So yeah, on the heavier side. And now we're going to do the Time disc. And that is about 5.1 grams. So that is a huge difference from these two metal discs. We got a 5-gram plastic disc. That's insane. But yeah, basically, when you put this on a Beyblade, you're going to make a really light combo. So that's why we're going to be using these parts. Now, I'm also going to point out some flaws that I found out with this disc. Number one being the center of the disc. Now, you guys see this hole in the center? That is where the driver pops in and out. There's actually two flaws with this. Number one is that the hole itself, when I printed it, was a little too narrow and the drivers weren't going in all the way. So I did sand it a little bit, or just enough for some drivers to go through. Keep in mind, some drivers like Eternal here, they will actually get kind of stuck, as you guys could see, which is not supposed to happen. Once again, just some minor inconsistencies with the measurements here, but it is fixable. But yeah, basically some drivers do end up getting stuck, but I have sanded it down enough with sandpaper to make most drivers not do that. So extend fits perfect. Now the other flaw here is the underside. If you guys see that, this part right here where I'm touching is actually pretty thick, and it's a little too thick because the drivers don't pop up all the way. So right here, you guys see it only comes up to a little bit under the tabs, which shouldn't happen. If you use a real disc like 13, you guys see that the driver pops out a lot higher, and that's how high it needs to be, or else you end up with some issues that I'm going to point out. So let's try to use it on Z Achilles, and we're going to just use it like any other disc. But now we run into this. So it doesn't really move much, and it won't let you click. If you do put in some force, and I mean a significant amount of force, it will click. And there you have it. Now, that took a lot of force, and that shouldn't happen with a real disc. Once again, the issue here is that the driver doesn't stick up enough for it to grip properly onto the layer, which could potentially damage drivers, but I'm doing this just for research purposes. I can make it work if I just force it in and twist, and voila, it'll fit. Now let's try other layers. I noticed that there is some inconsistencies with the layers themselves. So if we try Archer Hercules, it may be tight, it may not be tight. This one is honestly pretty tight. And I mean, all right, I got it to twist. That was much tighter than Z Achilles. But yeah, that took a lot of effort right now. Let's try, lastly, Bloody Longinus, which I discovered something really cool. We're gonna go ahead and use Bloody Longinus with the driver. You guys hear that? It actually clicks and works properly like a disc. And I think the reason for that is that the teeth, or I guess the layer itself, is shaped a little bit taller so that there's more space. And it allows for the driver to click on properly. Even if it doesn't fit all the way, it actually clicks. So out of all my layers, Bloody Longinus is the only one that can use this properly like a disc. Because if we use it on a layer like Z Achilles, it will just be really tight and not burst. But now it does actually click like it's supposed to, which means we can actually use it. So I'm really glad that I can at least use it properly. And I know that Kaiser 138 is in the process of fixing it, so it's really just mine that's gonna have this issue. But either way, we're able to use it, which I think is awesome. All right, so moving on, we're gonna do one more weight comparison. Once again, just to show you guys the weight differences here, we got our scale again. We're gonna try Bloody Longinus with the 13 discs, so the stock combo, and we're gonna weigh it. So, uncustomized stock combo weighs about 42.6, or actually 42.9 grams, which is a pretty decent weight. Now, let's get rid of the disc and use the time disc. And because it does fit properly, we can use it as intended. And now, we're looking at 29.2 grams. But that is insane, guys. This Beyblade just feels so freaking light. But it works. So we're gonna go get my stadium though, and we're gonna do some test battles and a few test launches just to see if this light Beyblade can even stand a chance against ordinary Beyblades. Alright, so we're gonna start off with some test launches. Even though it is 3D printed, it fits properly like any other disc, and it will latch onto a launcher as it should. But yeah, let's try a test launch. So it really just kind of launches like any other Beyblade. It does feel a little bit light. But it does work. Anyway, let's get some of my Beyblades and let's do some test battles. Alright, so you guys saw the battles, and a few things I noted is, number one, this thing feels so freaking light. Even to launch, it was kind of awkward for me to launch it, and yeah, it's crazy. Another crazy thing was that it didn't even burst, and I don't know what's with that. It barely clicked, even though it can click. Maybe because it's left spin, but either way, it didn't burst at all, and it even bursted a few other Beyblades, which I thought was freaking crazy. Once again though, I think the layer itself was helping it just because it's pretty heavy alone. Had we chosen a lighter layer like maybe D2, it might have been a different story, but we'll save that for another video. Anyway, that is it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this 3D printed plastic disc. I think it's pretty fun to mess around with. It really does add a twist, and it makes basically any Beyblade lighter by about 20 grams, so that's insane. And that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, guys, see ya.